Hello, hello, our vibrant friends. Thank you for joining us for our last of the year series, Healthy Minds, Healthy Bodies. I'm Crystal Atkinson coming to you from Brooks, Alberta, Canada, and this is
Becky Crine. I'm coming live from Cochrane, Alberta, Canada.
And we have been talking to you all year long about how we can establish a healthy mind and a healthy body so that together, that synergy between the two will help us to show up vibrantly and authentically and meaningful in our everyday lives. And if we want to serve others, if we want to take care of the people in our lives, we absolutely have to, first and foremost, take care of ourselves. So we spent the year, and if you're curious about some of the former episodes, just let us know, drop whatever you need to below, and we will hook you up with the whole series. But for today, we are going to talk about being present and how our perspective and our lens in lives really helps us to serve the people who are in our space. And so along that theme, Becky is going to share with us an experience that she was fortunate enough to have through our company. And it really is humbling. It just reminds us about the human connection, what it means to be human, and sometimes how our lenses really do need a little bit of a shift. So Becky, could you share your story with us?
Yeah, I would love to. So I had an amazing opportunity. I was able to travel to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic just at the beginning of November and actually take my daughter with me on that trip. And it was, a beautiful, beautiful tropical destination, a beautiful resort. We were there for a week. But while we were there, we've done a few of these trips with our company, and there was a few people, myself, maybe even I complained once or twice because there was a couple issues where the service wasn't great and maybe the food could have been better, and we found ourselves kind of being a bit negative, some people on our team, just looking at what was happening around us. And then on the Saturday of this event, my daughter and I had the opportunity to do our company's care program. And what that was is we had made some donations, and our company had actually built an entire wing onto a local school in Punta Cana. And so we got up Saturday morning, early in the morning at 6:30, and it was just pouring rain. We were actually supposed to go and do some painting at the school. We couldn't do that because of the rain. But we got on a bus and we left this beautiful all-inclusive resort, and we were just cranky because the toast wasn't good enough, right? Like, so silly at the time. Got on the bus and we started to leave. We pulled along the driveway of these beautiful, sculpted palm trees, and we pulled out of the resort and we started to drive, and suddenly the view started to change, and we're looking out and we're seeing ourselves go through a very different environment of poverty. There was garbage on the roads like I've never seen, and I'm felt fairly well traveled through the world, but I've never seen such amounts of garbage and debris. And the closer we got to this school, we saw kids outside playing in mud puddles, but smiling. We saw people covered in, like, literally had just a garbage bag over themselves in this pouring rain while we all had our fancy umbrellas from the resort. As we approached the school, I was like, "Are we actually driving up, like, to a garbage dump?" And that sounds bad, but there was just so much debris. And I saw a structure, and it was concrete walls all the way around with a razor wire all around the top. And I might actually tear up, but we pulled up and I'm like, "This is the school." And it was like, wow. And my daughter was with me, which was, we have a very fortunate education system in Canada. Anyway, we got off the bus and we walked onto this school ground, and we were able to see this facility that our company had built. But more importantly, we got to meet the children, not all of them, but there were children there from the school. We got to meet the principal and his wife. And we went into this concrete classroom, and it was very tiny. Like, I'm not so good at measurements, but I would say it was probably only 10 or 15 feet across on either side. And they told us that that was going to house 75 kids a day in this tiny classroom. My daughter looked at me and we were like, whoa, that's insane. And it was a concrete room. That's it. They were just going to put some desks in there. And the principal's wife spoke to us. And she was so so full of gratitude for what we had done that of course she broke down and crying. And it was just her life's love was her life's labor had been to create this school. And so our company was able to provide this amazing opportunity. The kids were there. They had little speeches, they spoke, and it was just this, as they're talking, I could kind of look around the room and I could kind of see the shift in the room. Nobody cared about the cold toast anymore. We were like, ooh, our lens had such a change of, the perspective had changed. And we realized in that moment how grateful we were for everything that we had, but also grateful for the opportunity to help others. And I've done cool things in my life. I've helped out, I've donated, but that moment was just so immensely profound, probably because I shared it with my daughter and it was her first real experience doing that. But so grateful for that. And the feeling that comes with helping others that are less fortunate. We got back on the bus as we're driving back. As we first got on, I will mention, is she over there? She probably won't want me to tell you this story, but I looked at my daughter, she's 15, and I could see her eyes were just a little bit glassy. And I'm like, hey, how was that? Like, are you okay? I'm fine. She didn't want to admit that she was maybe crying a little bit. But and I might here talk about my own kids, but it changed her. It changed her perspective. Literally could see a shift in her from that one experience. Yeah. And well, I could talk about this all day. I need to wrap this up and give it back to Crystal. But that opportunity to serve others. We literally came back to Canada. And again, not that we've never done these things, but different people. And so I invite you with that to think about what you can do. I'm very much always teaching you guys how to serve yourselves. But when you can be your best self and then take that out and help others, it is just absolutely life-changing. So Crystal's going to talk a little bit about that and about being present. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Crystal.
Yeah, what those experiences are profound and they change us. I talk a lot about my volunteer place of choice is the Mustard Seed Homeless Shelter in Calgary. Yeah. And the first time I took my oldest daughter with me to work there, we prepare hundreds and hundreds of meals, breakfast and lunch. Usually we do the extended shift because it's a couple hour drive for us to get there. And then we serve the clients who are there. And the very first time she was there, here we are in the back and we're preparing all these lunches because all of the clients get to sleep overnight. But then when the morning comes, they get breakfast and then they get a bag lunch that they have to take with them because they can't stay in the shelter around the clock. They have to go out and find temporary work for the day, which most of them are fairly successful at. So that first time my daughter was there, we were in the back. You don't see anybody. You're just working in a kitchen. And then it was time to serve. And I had given her a few options. I was like, you don't have to come near the guests. You can work back in this part of the kitchen. You can go over to the dishes station. I'm going to go out front and I'm going to collect tickets from the clients, but don't feel you need to do that. And she instantly was like, Mom, I want to meet the people and I want to serve them with you. And I was just like, my heart, right? Like I was tears. I was like, oh my goodness, I raised a good human. Because so many kids her age would be afraid of the homeless. Like that's just the bottom line. Her friends afterwards were like, weren't you afraid? And all of the things. And the two of us stood out front and we collected the tickets and we visited and we laughed. And, they would joke around like, oh, is this your sister? And just human connection. And isn't that what we're craving now more than ever? So our servanthood does not need to be big. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to go out to a shelter. You don't need to find a community Christmas to be at this season. What we want you to do is to be present. Your gift of presence will have the biggest impact on the people in your circle. And don't undermine the value of every single interaction. When you have a server at a restaurant, when you are going through a checkout line, if you actually stop and look somebody in the eyes and say, how are you? I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And you just mean it. You connect with people in ways that we need. We crave to be seen. We crave to be heard. And then when you're in your homes, when you're in the homes of your friends, when you're in the homes of your families, some little things that we would like you to consider is, what are the things that naturally distract you? So I'm somebody who, I do my business on my phone. So my phone is always with me. But during certain seasons, whether there's big sales or things like that, I like to have my phone right there because I want to offer good customer service. But the bottom line is I don't need that with me. So maybe if that's going to be a distraction when I show up at my friends, maybe I just put it in my purse. Maybe I grab a few of those pictures because I love pictures. I always have since way before phones. Maybe I grab a few of my pictures, but I leave that in my purse. When my children were young, they're not young anymore. If I went to a place where I thought, oh, they're going to be on me all the time and I just want to visit with my friend, I would take my kiddos and say, okay, let's pick our 3 favorite things that we want to play with when we go over to our friend's place. And so we would gather a few things, put them in a bag, gather a couple of their favorite snacks. My youngest has an allergy, so we're used to bringing our own food. And that's what we would brought, because otherwise it would be so easy to get distracted. It would be so easy to get caught up with taking care of my young ones or clicking things on my phone or whatever. And that totally defeats the purpose of getting together. When your family comes over for Christmas, be present. Think about if you had like a third eye and you could look in at yourself interacting with the people. How does that look? Does it look like you care about them? Does it look like you want to even be with them? And then pivot if you need to. So that's my challenge to you going into this holiday season.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Crystal. So many good points. And something you said that it made me think about judgment. And you said you were at the Mustard Seed and your daughter she just embraced everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me actually as well in Punta Cana when we were first driving and I was seeing people. I'm going to be honest, there's judgment that comes when people live differently than you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize that no matter where you are in the world, everybody is the same. And we let go of judgment. We let go of judgment of ourselves and we let go of judgment on others and be present. We can truly give the gift of Christmas, right? And the
Absolutely.
gift of goodwill. So that just made me think about that as well. So, even if you're watching this and sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves and we can start putting ourselves down, let go of judgment of yourself, let go of judgment of others. Ask questions, be curious, find what you have in common with someone versus what's different, including probably your family, right? We're going into a season where it's not always rainbows and unicorns at Christmas. So find that common thread. And what Crystal and I have really worked to do over the past year is to help everybody just figure out how to live their best life, how to live vibrantly. And so we invite you again now to join us in our online communities. We're both doing activities coming up in the next few days about just simplifying the season, right? And giving that gift of presence. And so if either of those interests you, we're going to give you practical skills, practical strategies. Just write the word embrace down below in the comments. And we would love to just connect with you online and get that message out, because the more that we can live our best life and then be present and just let ourselves shine, we really can change the world for a better place. And we've been through a lot, so we definitely need that. So
we do.
And we just want to say thank you as well. Thank you. We've been doing this for almost an entire year. So as we close out this episode of 2022, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, and just connect with us. We are here to serve others and really, truly help women to live their best and to live vibrantly. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.